Hello. Welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network. Presented by Patriot Patch Company and Camerado.com. Can't mess with the sponsors. Anyway, how's everybody doing tonight?
Alive, working,
Yay. Mostly kicking?
mostly
That's good.
kicking, yeah.
Yeah, feels good to be home for a week.
Yeah. Yeah, you've been out gallivanting all over the place again.
Yeah.
So. Nick, did you tell us about your dad's newest acquisition 2 weeks ago?
No.
Okay, so that means your dad needs to tell us about it.
I would love to show it, but we can't.
Nope. Well, we can, but we shouldn't show that one off.
No.
So, anyway.
No, Nick, when watching the auctions, he knew I'd been wanting a certain rifle, and he found one on an auction, and we bid on it and won. I ended up purchasing a 1941 Johnson rifle with the spare 7mm barrel. So I got a 30-06 barrel as well as a 7mm. We took it out and shot it, what, a week ago?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. It's functioned perfectly fine, and it's nice.
How hard to swap the barrel?
30 seconds.
Yeah, 36.
Nice.
Got one
Nice.
push pin, a little lever pulls down. You unlock the bolt just a little bit, the barrel slides right out.
Yeah, you just take the whole gun was designed to be taken apart with a loaded round. So literally, if I would love to show it, and I could show you how to do it, but I can't. There's a little detent you push up by the barrel under the front handguard, which drops a latch down, which holds your barrel in. You pull your barrel out, put your new barrel in. You got to pull
And you shake it all about.
Exactly. I got to pull the bull handle back a little bit, and then just latch back up in there, and it's changed over to 7mm.
Wow.
Nice.
I got a really good deal on it. I bet you we got it for at least $3,000 less than market. Which that's the most I've ever paid for a gun.
They had them at our Kansas City show, which my dad will agree with me. It's probably one of the best shows in the country. 2 years ago, 4 of them, all were over 10 grand. So, if that tells you what they go for, and we got it for a heck of a price, nowhere near that.
I was suspect when we were looking at the auction because the listing kept saying it comes with an extra 30-06 barrel. And I thought, why would they be getting just another 30-06 barrel? And
Because they had the 7-barrel installed.
no, when on the 7mm barrel, there's a ring that acts with the lack of
I can do the barrel. You mean go grab that, Dad?
Yeah, go get the barrel, the extra barrel. What it is, there's a ring on it that part of the lock locks into, and printed on that is 30-06. So when they made the 7mm barrel for the Chilean, they used that same ring, and it's marked 30-06, except by the chamber, it's very lightly stamped 7 cal. So at the people at the auction, they just looked at that and saw 30-06 and listed as another 30-06 barrel. Show them that ring, Nick. There you go.
So this is what helps lock the barrel in the action, is this ring here and this little ledge here. So,
Okay.
and the only place that the markings are at are, it's hard to see there, but you can kind of see it right here.
I can see the imprint.
That says Navy.
Go ahead.
It says Navy Arms Company.
And then there's just a little bit of markings here. on the side that say Cal 7.
Yeah.
There's
Now,
all the markers that are on it.
The 7mm barrel was made by the Mexican Arsenal. So they made it for Johnson. There again, they reused some of the .6 rings and stuff like that. Then when they were imported back in the United States, Navy Arms did the importation, so they stamped their name on it.
Yeah, because this actually does say 30-06 41
Okay.
here on the ring on the front. So for most 99% of people that wouldn't know, they would just say, "Oh, it says 30-06," so they think it's
And then-
another 30-06 barrel. But if I were to take a 30-06 round, drop it in the chamber,
Ain't gonna happen.
it's gonna go like that. It's not gonna even come close. And that's how we
When
found out.
When we got the gun, I said, well, let's, we did the muzzle check, and because I didn't have my muzzle gauge with me. So we did the 30-06. I said, Nick, that's not seating all the way. We pulled the other barrel, the .6 round with chamber. I said, go get a 7. He go gets a 7. It chambers.
And we're flipping out.
Then I'm looking at the hang tags that are on the gun. It was printed right on the hang tag, extra 7mm barrel. Whoever wrote the listing up didn't read the tag. And that barrel's worth about $1,000 alone.
Oh, if not more, because one of
Are
these
you
sold.
serious?
The barrel
Yes.
sold at Rock Island. One of these sold at Rock Island in 2014 for $1,200 alone.
The 7mm barrel.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
because they only made
1,000 or 1,500 of these.
it
It was a small contract run that went to South America. Everybody thinks South Chile. There's Argentina involved. It's like 2 or 3 countries. They don't know who exactly got them, but you can see it's got tons of rifling still. So it's mirror bright. So
Yeah, well, there weren't a lot of Johnsons made.
20
begin
right
with.
22,000.
Right.
So they're pretty rare.
And then a whole bunch of them went to the Marine Corps in the beginning of 2. So a lot of those that didn't come back.
I've seen serial number 9 ever produced Johnson. It's actually sitting at Simpsons Limited up in Galesburg, Illinois.
Yeah.
The gentleman that carried it was actually a Marine that won the Medal of Honor with it, and is it Brad Simpson, the son? It was one of his school teachers in school.
So he got the gun.
So, but it's super cool story. Robert Dunlap is, I believe, his name.
Yeah.
But no, it was one of our Holy Grail rifles, if you would say a Holy Grail rifle. But
Yeah.
One I've always wanted.
yeah, we never thought we'd done one.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you're looking at only 22,000 made, and then you can sit down and say that the barrel alone is probably, a run of 1,500, 2,000.
So
collector wise, yeah.
We'll ask the listeners here. What does that chamber remind you of?
Compare, yeah.
Actually, here we go.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
You can see what we mean.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Eugene Stoner contacted Johnson when he was developing the AR, when he was at Armalite, because he liked that bolt design, because you don't have to twist. I think it's like
It's
5 or 10 degrees before
Yeah.
everything locks up. And Johnson gave him the approval to use that design.
Well, what
Didn't know
makes that
Hey, you
what
learned
makes-
history tonight.
what makes it nice is that's why it makes the full auto go faster, because the bolt doesn't have to move as much.
correct. Yep.
Nice acquisition, guys. Really
Thank
nice.
Thank you.
We've gotten quite a few good ones here in the last month or so. We got that. We got a Sent Me C, one of the early Century Arm kit builds. It still has the original Spanish trigger pack. Got it for a heck of a good deal. I owed Dad some money from some guns he had bought for me at an auction, and so I ended up picking that up here locally. It shoots real well. trying to think what else.
In 308.
Yeah, 308, and all we had to do was replace the rollers in the bolt
Okay.
on the bolt.
Okay.
But it runs.
Are the
And
mags still cheap for it?
They're pretty cheap, like $10.
Okay.
But yeah, it would normally, like, my FAL or my L1A1 is a Century build, and the barrel's a little canted. This one, straight as an arrow. We were hitting a group about like that at 100 yards, which for open sights, we weren't complaining.
Yeah, the bolt gap was on the lower end. I think it was 5/10,000ths. No, 5/5000ths. Let me rephrase that. And I bought +4 oversized rollers, and it bumped it up to about 15,000ths. So, it shoots nice.
And easy to replace the rollers.
Oh God, yes.
Tommy Boy, it's in 7.62 NATO or 308.
Yeah.
I would love the one in 7.62 sent me, but those ones are harder to find.
It's just a weaker 7.62.
Yeah.
So
But
I
answering
remember.
Dave's question, most of what we shoot is cast. Like, I have a stack here for my 8x50 Mannlicher that are cast and powder coated. I think I have some 312s over here on the bench. I probably got another couple different sizes here. I'm finally back down at the bench after, a year and a half away from the bench, pretty much.
Nice.
I can actually work on my bench now. So
That's nice. That's nice.
I know Mike and Paul have seen it, but the vault room is finished.
Yep.
Yes.
I will post some photos on the Discord later this evening. It turned out real well. I was very happy with how well it turned out.
Yeah.
You owe me big time.
I'm gonna be helping you on yours anyway, and yours is gonna be a lot bigger.
Nick is running out of room already in his.
Not wrong. I think we figured. I have 3 racks we built. Each one holds 35 rifles. I filled about 1.5 of them.
Okay.
With my stuff. Plus, my dad's gonna start bringing his stuff over this summer and fall before he moves over. So that's going to be filling up my spot. Fortunately, the safe's empty. So if it gets too bad, I'll just start putting stuff in the safe. So
now, I remember a long time ago, you guys went on the Vortex Nation podcast, and you had your military style racks up there, and you had like 3 or 4 racks, 3 racks, I think it was.
Still right there. I used those when we were working on the vault room. All the rifles were sitting on those racks and covered in just plastic. So, but those are easy to make. You can find the plans for those anywhere on the internet, and we kind of based my racks in the vault room a little bit off of that. So, no, color turned out well. I did cedar boards instead of pine. The cost was really no savings. It was maybe a little bit of an uptick in price, but they're about staining. You're going to get the nice cedar smell. It's going to help keep the room better in the long run.
It's neat walking in that room and getting the cedar smell, the turpentine smell from our gunny rub, and the old milk smell. So I mean, it's like walking into an old armory. It's pretty neat.
So you got the rig grease in a pot with a little candle underneath it to keep it warm.
Or in the vault?
Yeah.
No, he's gonna get.
I gotta get a dehumidifier. I'm ordering that probably next week. I'm ordering one from.
No, it is for the scent. Everybody's got a scent candle or something.
I wish you could smell this stuff right here. It's the best smelling stuff in the world. I almost use this stuff as hand cream.
That's what Paul said. You can make a candle that smells like that.
Oh, I just opened it. I love the smell of Gunny's paste. It works great. Stocks, slings, anything.
You said it's called Gunny's paste.
Gunny paste.
Yeah, it's 3 equal parts of turpentine, beeswax, and boiled linseed oil.
Interesting.
Yep. You can put it on metal, wood, leather, everything.
Nice. What the heck is that?
His
My
his,
sensor going off.
All right then.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's what's new with us.
Well, I'm been packing up a bunch of stuff to take back to Illinois for a while to help out with the daughter. So I'm here getting some toys ready to go.
So your daughter's building a new house? Is that what I understood? Or
No, she's she needs help with the house, the new baby, and everything else.
yeah.
So in order to keep my sanity, I need some toys to play with.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So in the process of building another reloading room there, and have to populate it with something. So why I'm here in Indiana, you got to take care of all the stuff that I haven't been able to take care of for the past 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, back door needed to be repainted. So, fix all that up. And it's a wood door, so it needed some epoxy repair parts to put in to take care of some wood rot and stuff like that, and then sister up some new wood into it, and yeah, busy. And then packing up MTM ammo crates to take with me. I got 1, 2, 3. I got 6 MTM ammo crates to bring with me.
Wow.
Nice.
So, and that doesn't mean that means this press is still going to sit here. So that's I got a new mech press coming. So going with the poor man's priming system to leave the RCBS and Holland Gunsmith priming station here. So,
What is your definition of the poor man's priming system?
If you go on Amazon.
Oh, okay. Now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Never mind.
You go on Amazon, they have it's basically a die that screws into your press, and it's got an anvil there and a micrometer to set the depth of your primer. So yeah, new, Reading just got a big order for new shell holders and stuff like that. Some bunch of new dies are coming, so I got a wife that's going to be upset with me.
Oops.
So but powder and stuff like that, I'm going to take that with me. Primers I got, cleaning kit. The only thing I got a problem with is one of my cleaning rods. It's just a little hard to fit inside of a car.
Really?
Well, it's almost 6 foot long.
Do you use Dewey rods, or what do you use?
No, I normally use Dewey, but I found the Vortec makes a real long rod where the cheek piece doesn't interfere with the handle as you're cleaning. So the rod is, don't know if I can get to it right now, but the rod is about 5.5 feet long.
Oh, wow.
So Yeah, fishing pole. It's coated, and it's the only thing that they don't do is they don't put a male thread on theirs, and I like male threads on my cleaning rods. But yeah, it's going to be interesting.
What rate you use a public range, or you got property over in Illinois still to shoot on?
No, public range.
Public range.
Yeah. Yeah, public range. Looking to see if I can get into the ISR range.
I've never shot that, but I've heard it's a nice range.
It is the pistol ranges I've seen that are nice. I haven't been to all the rifle ranges yet, and that I want to see. So, and it's basically an hour from where I am in Illinois, so it isn't
That's not bad.
Not as lucky as you guys are in Wisconsin, where you're 30 and 40 minutes away. You know, that's nice.
I'm actually, if you really want to complain, actually there is a, well, I'll tell you exactly. Weird. Sorry, my computer was being weird.
That's okay.
For a
I
second.
know there's a state range of Missouri, about 25, 30-ish minutes from the house.
Mm-hmm.
And my gun club I'm member is right at 25.
Yeah. You got Missouri has got all kinds of them.
Yeah.
You know, Kansas has got all kinds of them.
It's 18 minutes
18 minutes. There we go.
to the North Bristol Swordsman's Club. It's actually 14 miles. So, but they are interesting, shall we say. And I'll leave it at that. I used to, a long time ago, belong to that range, and I no longer belong to that range.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I've been to a couple of ranges with Ken and Ken Brown. And
yeah. Columbus, actually, how far is Columbus from here? I think it's like 40 from my house. I used to belong to that range.
It's nice. They if
It
you're
is nice.
If you're
Yeah,
approved, you can shoot at the 600-yard range, which says targets from 100 to 600.
Yeah, at some point in time I will. 28 minutes.
Yeah, can't beat it. Can't beat it.
So yeah,
it's got
28 minutes to a 600-yard range from my house.
Right, and they have a 200-yard range that's it's all covered.
Mhm.
They have another 25 and 50-yard pistol range by itself over there.
Mhm. Yeah, I haven't been out there. I haven't belonged there since they redid everything. Because I was at a different range that's a little north of here. That's about 40 minutes north. But yeah, Columbus really, unfortunately, when I was out there before, because somebody was an idiot one day, they had the 600-yard shut down. The shot was still within parameters. And so it was still safe and everything, but it was out farther than desired.
Right.
And so they literally just shut it down.
Mhm.
And they kept it shut down for about a year and a half to kind of revamp a bunch of stuff, do a fundraising to redo a bunch of the backstops and everything. And they really, I mean, it was good before, but then they went through and redid a bunch more and
Yeah.
really improved it. It's, well, you've seen it.
Hmm. No,
Um,
it's a well kept range.
I mean, I thought it was awesome just to, the lower, the 25, the 50, the 100.
And 200. Yeah,
So when I was there, they had 150 as well
they probably do have 150. I mean, there's berms.
down there. So
Yeah.
I don't remember. I guess I'd have to look at the map, but and see. But yeah, I had a blast because the other day, yesterday actually, I had a guy in that was buying a gun and then wanted to know about places to shoot, and he didn't have a clue.
Okay.
And so I started, talking about a couple of places, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't know about that. I didn't know about that." And then I said, "But here's the thing you really need to know. So everybody, if you own a firearm and you plan on shooting it at a range of some sort, and not somebody like, somebody's private house and stuff like that, it's called wheretoshoot.org. Now, I will be honest, and the NSSF is honest, they don't have every range in existence on there. Okay.
Mhm.
Some that are missed because they will reach out to the ranges, and if the ranges don't respond and don't give information, they don't half-ass this list. They don't just throw something on there. Well, we kind of think there's a range here, there might be, but we don't know. So they don't do that. But NSSF, it's their website. You go there. When it asks for a city and state, or it asks for a zip code, you put it in there. You put it your distance that you want to search out, and it literally searches for every range in that area, and it will give you details like shotgun or pistol or rifle or archery. Is it indoor? Is it outdoor? Is it just regular trap? Is it five stand? Is it sporting clays? Um,
Yeah.
all that fun stuff. And so if you're not sure, it's a great thing to check. Or if you're tired of the bullcrap from your current range and you've tried to make changes and you can't because you're waiting for people to die, let's face it, probably
Which,
25% of the ranges in this country, that's the case.
yeah.
You're just literally waiting for the people that are elected year after year after year. You're just waiting for them to die so you can get new people on the board and actually change things.
Or they have a limit on membership, and
Right.
and the only way you can get on is have somebody die and 3 people sponsor you.
Exactly.
So, you know,
That pretty much describes Winnequa, but
yeah,
there's a reason, because Winnequa is an amazing range. That's where they did the F-Class Nationals last year.
right.
It's 1,200 yard. Actually, depending on what they do, it's 12 to 1,400 yard. Supposedly, they're working on potentially out to 2,000.
Well,
But they don't know how they're going to pull that off because there's a road in the way.
okay.
That's the thing they haven't figured out yet. And unlike Sweden, where you can shoot over roads and nobody cares,
Well, that's the same in
and unlike above Highway 8, southern Wisconsin's a little more particular.
Switzerland has the same thing where you can shoot over roads. There are a couple of ranges where it is exactly you're shooting over a road.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's anything over Highway 8 in Wisconsin, you can shoot anywhere. It don't matter.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
So let's just put it this way. Okay. So in Wisconsin, above Highway 8, it's a different world, literally. It's most things are pirate code. So, if if you spend time up there, you learn it. But yeah, I mean, a lot of things that happen above Highway 8 in Wisconsin, it's pirate code. It's by suggestion, whether that be speed limit or hunting or that type of thing. So
Well, yeah, but you got the national forest there, everything else. You can just most people's homes back up to the national forest there.
right,
You
and then you
just
get the reservations.
yeah, you just walk out the back end, back
Be
door.
careful on that though, because like I said, some things up there are pirate code. Some of those things
Yeah.
also are like you're transplanted back to say, the 1870s.
Yeah.
And I'm not lying about that. So that's the one drawback to of Highway 8 is they still kind of play cowboys and Indians up there sometimes.
Yeah. The Indians
Anyway.
can get nasty. Yeah.
My boss just told me that he needs me to help him out tomorrow, so I'm just telling him, sorry, I'm sick. I'm telling him I have anal glaucoma.
Oh boy.
He's had a couple of rough weeks. So normally there's two managers that manage the custodial department for our district. One of them had knee surgery, and so he's been out. So poor Alex has kind of been left to his own, and so so he's struggling. And the other boss that I were talking, he goes, "You're keeping a track of Alex. You're checking up on him, right? Making sure he's not an alcoholic yet." I said, yes, he hasn't started going to meetings. He goes, okay, good. He didn't get the part of that joke that
yeah,
he didn't go to meetings, so he's not an alcoholic. Anyway, he's starting to type a response. This is going to be good. He just laughed. Anyway, for those of you who want to know what anal glaucoma is, I can't see my ass coming into work. Oh, good old joke. Anyway, so yeah, we were talking about ranges. NSSF.org. They have a link on the NSSF page if you forget where to shoot.org. So,
and it's a handy little place to go.
Yep. So, but yeah, if you go to Google Maps and you go to Columbus Sportsman Association, Columbus, Wisconsin, you'll see. And then as you zoom out, basically what the map is it's a chunk of, well, actually, I'll just show you. Why am I describing this? Obviously, those of you who hear this podcast, whenever we finally get around to posting it, which I'm getting some posted finally. Chris has been editing them, and I'm finally, getting to posting. So, so we're getting caught up. But yeah, so as you look, you can see the pin that's dropped. If you look straight up, you'll see that patch of brown. And then as you start to look above that, you can see where the berms are for the long distance range. So, but then as I zoom in, it gets a little clearer. And then over here is actually where the original shorter range that we were talking about. So, so this is a covered shelter.
Right.
2550. Oh no, wait a minute. No, that's 50 and 100 and 200.
Yeah. I thought there was a 150 out there, but
there used to be. I don't know what happened to it. Maybe they got rid of it, or maybe it's right here.
Yeah, it's
I think.
it's in the trees there.
I think it's right here in the trees on the side
Yeah.
because the 200's in the middle. So,
Mhm.
which
It's really nice because you can shoot at
they redid the pistol so you don't shoot from the rifle range anymore. Is
yeah.
my understanding of it.
Yep.
Because we
But
used to shoot pistols over here and everything. So
the
But-
rifle range is set up so you can shoot at 100 yards, 150, or 100, 150, and 200 yards from certain benches,
Mhm.
which was
and they're
really
labeled.
yeah.
So
But you
and
can
if it's nobody there, you can cross shoot to a point. But if there's people there, don't cross shoot because they get pissed and they will toss you. So, um, it's not like you can, So basically, the 100 is on the left, the 150 is on the right, the 200's in the middle. So you can like cross shoot from the 150 to the 200, or you can cross shoot from the 100 to the 200, but you can't go from the 150. Well, obviously, you can't go from the 150 over to the 100 because that's really hard.
Yeah.
A shorter angle, and they don't want you cross shooting from the 100 to the 150 either because that's really bad angles and you're not safely aiming at the berm anymore. So it's kind of a stretch if you're cross shooting from the 100 or the 150 into the 200, but
it's doable.
it's the way it's built. It's
Yeah.
doable because they designed it that way. So, but then they've got three regular trap houses. This is your long distance. Oh, I stopped sharing. Never mind. But they've got the long distance shooting. They've got a really nice clubhouse and stuff, and I think they've got a indoor archery. I don't remember what else they've got. So, but yeah,
They
if
have
you're in
a they have
Wisconsin,
a
you're looking for a nice place. It's really nice for southern Wisconsin. So
they have a large front area that they use for archery out there.
yeah,
There's
for like 3D and
right.
they used to do FITA shoots too. So if you don't know what FITA is, it's FITA. Look it up. It's kind of cool. I'm just looking to see if we're on YouTube still. But unfortunately, the first thing that comes up is somehow it was a Clint Eastwood video when he's in jail, and the first thing it says, "Yeah, we're still on." The first thing it says is, it's he's in jail for some reason, and I think it's one of the Dirty Harry series. So that was kind of funny. But so Paul, you
Yes,
kind
sir.
of covered your plans for the summer already.
Yep.
Ray, what are your plans for the summer?
Travel for work. Not really taking any big vacations this year that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're bouncing back between here, the new house for meetings, walkthroughs. We had a electrical walkthrough on Monday or yesterday. If I take any trip, I might go to down in Texas. The wife's wanting to go to an October festival called Worst Fest.
Yeah, you were
Down
telling me
there.
about that, and that's
Yeah.
I think it's actually in November though.
Yeah, it's in November.
Down in we were New Braunfels, I think, isn't it?
New Braunfels. Yep. So if we take any trip, that'll be the one we take.
Because I kind of want to go to that too, but there's no way I'm going to be able to pull that off. But as it is
Other
right
than
now,
that-
I've got GunCon figured out. I have to figure out goals, so I don't know what I want to do with that.
Yeah,
So,
and I'm going to play goals by ear. Depending how work's going in that same time frame. But other than that,
I'm trying. The wife's got some friends in the Carolinas that they were talking about possibly meeting up, but I don't know if that's going to still happen because they just sold their existing house and are moving into a new house. So, there's all that stuff going with that. But instead of, like your plan where it's stretched out, they literally figured out they were going to be selling their existing house and buying a new house in like a week and a half.
oh,
So their house is next to a church. The church literally came over and offered them X amount of dollars in literally cash. Said, we want your house, but we want it for the land, but we want your house and we're going to pay you fair market value. And they, tossed around because they want to expand. And so then they're like, well, we were kind of thinking about moving anyway because we're tired of having stairs. And so then they looked around, they found a house, made an offer on it. And so literally like a week and a half, they went from being where they are to making plans to, and so now they've got 2 closings they're going to wind up dealing with and all of that. And so,
Yeah.
so I was trying to work it out so we could go and meet them in Knoxville, go to Goals for a part of a day or a day, because her friend and her friend's husband are big into firearms and Second Amendment stuff. So it would have been kind of boring for Nancy. So we would have, not put too much onto her, but then also Knoxville's really nice and I get to go to the Smokies and Nancy we get to do stuff with Nancy's friends and
Well,
other
you
than
need to meet up.
Goals.
Meet up at Sevierville or Pigeon Forge. Stay there, then drive into Knoxville. The
Well,
guys
that's what I
drive
was-
in. And,
So what I was looking at, but I think they're all gone now, is, and people may not know this, but the state of Tennessee on their state parks have cabins that they rent. And they're not, they've got like old timey cabins, and then they've got some really nice places they rent, and they're not extremely ridiculous. And there's a lot of them that are pet friendly where you can actually bring your pets. So that was kind of the goal, is bring the dogs, drive out there, make it a long weekend, that type of thing. So
until you got to the pet friendly part, Illinois even has a couple of places like that.
yeah.
But they're not pet friendly.
Mhm.
Of course, Illinois isn't friendly to anybody, but
Wrong.
no, they're not.
They're friendly to criminals and grafters. That's who they're friendly to. And bribers.
If you're on the take, they're for you.
No, if you're willing to pay people,
Yeah.
then they're for you. If you're on the take, that's the problem, because they don't want to they don't want to give you money. They want you to give them money.
Yeah.
well, they they just sit down and what was it, three or 4 new taxes they put together and passed.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, did you? Speaking of, did you see what the feds are now going to try and do? $1.50 for every delivery to your house.
oh
That's Illinois.
Amazon, DoorDash, Uber Eats, whatever. They're going to nail you $1.50 tax. It's already passed the Senate.
unreal.
Mm-hmm.
Unreal.
They don't need any more money. They need to figure out how to properly spend the stuff they have.
Well, they know how to spend what they have.
I said properly.
Well, that to them, it's properly.
No, it's not.
Ooh.
So anyway, back to more important things.
All right.
So,
We had a decision.
Did the chat die?
Looks like it.
Hello,
we had
chat.
we had a decision today by the Supreme Court
Yesterday.
or yesterday.
Chicken shits.
Certiorari was not granted in the case, and Snopes versus Maryland and the other one in Rhode Island. So,
Yeah.
my feeling is that they're not going to take a case until one of the other states says that the court comes and says you can't pass that law, and there's two cases that are going to hit head to head against each other.
So you're thinking that they're going to wait? They have to wait until they have a disagreement with the circuits
Sure.
to justify hearing it.
Yes. Yeah. Really simple. So far, every.
I don't think they needed to wait for that. I think they were just chicken shit.
Well, it may be chicken shit. I mean, but it's what they're using to get to it. They've taken more 2A cases in the past 3 years, or the past 3 years,
Yeah.
than they have in the whole the whole 200 years of our Constitution. So then we have I don't know where it is in the Senate yet, but is the hearing protection
They're
Act
on recess. They're on recess right now.
Okay.
So they won't be back until next Monday.
Okay, so they're on recess. The House passed the bill. The Senate has it now, and the president said he'll sign it.
Yep.
Now then, what does that mean? What does that mean? As states that already allow it, no problem. 4473, and you'll get it. If it goes through the way it is now. If it goes through the way the Senate wants it, they still want the ATF to register the suppressor.
So here's the funny thing. Actually, I think the way it went through.
Yeah, there's no registry.
There's no 4473.
Oh, really? I thought, talk to the shop, local shop, there's still 4473. It's just as a firearm.
Was the shorty kept in that, or how'd that go?
Well, the shorty is in one version of the House bill, but it's hanging on by threads. But the problem is that if the feds do pass and allow it, states like California, New York, Illinois, are still not going to allow you to have one.
Okay, so let's see here. Damn it, I didn't want that. Why does it have to be only frickin' NRA? All right. So I have This is from the House Ways and Means, so I don't know if it's going to have it on there. There we go. That's what I want. Okay, that's Invest in America, Title III, Education Workforce, Loan Limits, regulatory relief. Repeals and recessions. All right, let's see here. Heavy duty vehicles, air pollution, greenhouse, diesel, blah, blah. There's a lot of crap in this bill.
It's a budget bill. That's
Yeah, I
how
know.
they got it through.
Right. Control F. There we go. I should share this while I'm doing this so everybody can see it. Okay, so I'm opening that for later. So it says amend by striking any silencer and all that follows through 8. So actually, I want to see that. So this is what this is the actual bill and what they're suggesting. They say so in section 5845A of the NFA, they want to amend it by striking 7 and go all the way through. Yeah, by striking 7, any silencer and all that follows through question mark and 8, and then inserting 7. So they want to change. Get rid of silencer, which that doesn't make sense. Okay, so it says text containing those laws in effect June 2nd, 2025. So did they make the change already then in this?
No, that they've suggested it. The Senate still has to,
Right.
and that the bill is supposed to be signed by that time.
Yeah, because I don't see silencer anywhere in here. So I'm thinking that what I'm seeing here when I clicked on that link is showing the change.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then this here. So section 5811A is amended to read as follows. Rate, there shall be levied paid on firearms transferred tax rate of. So it says 5 for each firearm on any other, 0 for each firearm in the case of a silencer, and then 200 for blah, blah, blah.
So in other words, what they're saying there is that
0.
the registration is still going to be there, but the silencer is going to be, there's no tax.
That's what this says up here, yeah. So it says, I mean, this is one of those times I wish I had Adam on, but that boy's busy, so I knew it wasn't even worth trying to reach out to anybody, because there's anybody that's involved is, going to be busy starting this. So, so yeah, looking at this in my uneducated dumbassery, it appears that you will still have to submit the NFA paperwork. You will just not be charged the $200. So it still will be registered with the NFA and everything like that. You will still have all the Form 4s or the Form 1s and all that crap. And there's provisions in here for, once, when it's supposed to take effect and blah, blah, blah. And, if you had filed beforehand or up to this date, whether you're allowed a refund or not, and yada, yada.
So it comes down to, you still have to go get your paperwork done.
I just listened to Jared from Guns and Gadgets, his video when it was passed through the House. No registry. The full version of the Hearing Suppression Act passed through the House.
It did.
Yes, and that's Jared, and Jared knows way more than.
Oh, he absolutely, yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna mute my microphone. I'm gonna listen to this video real quick again. He said,
"All right, cool.
Full version passed.
Full
with
version.
the short.
No, short can be added by any singular senator. I knew that.
Okay.
Any singular senator can amend the bill and add that to the bill.
No, short. What do you mean by short?
The short barrel rifle.
Okay.
For short barrel rifles.
Short barrel rifles, short barrel shotguns.
Yep,
okay.
Yep. That's the short act. Hearing suppression is, of course, our suppressors. So it's literally just as accessory.
Right.
But being that serialized, they'll have
I honestly, I don't honestly, as much as I want to see everything gone, starting with the NFA, because frankly, in my personal opinion, it's all a violation of the Second Amendment.
Sure. Yeah.
At this point in time, what I want is SBS, SBRs, silencers, off the NFA.
That's the biggest thing I
For
want.
for now, you can keep machine guns and any other weapons on there for now.
I don't think you'll ever see machine guns come off.
I don't either. I want whatever I want to call it the Henderson Act, but I know that's not the correct name for it. But when
Yeah.
Reagan screwed us in '86, thanks NRA, dicks. When Reagan and the NRA screwed us in '86, I want that gone, so that everybody and their grandmother can start legally making machine guns again.
I want importations back opened.
I want 921 gone.
Yeah. Or 922R, you mean?
922R, yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
part of the GCA, so goodbye.
Yeah.
GCA needs to go away. All of the, the crap that Reagan passed in '86, the Crime Bill Act, and all of that garbage. For anybody who thinks that background checks actually work,
I don't.
go do your research.
Go look at Illinois.
For the last year that Obama
Three of us
was in
know what
office-
that exactly is like.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the last year that Obama was in office, one of the last 2 years he was in office, they literally only they only really brought people on charges. 3% of the people that were actually suspected of making straw purchases. 3%. Okay? Out of those 3%, they literally only convicted 1%.
Yeah.
So you're
think-
talking what? Maybe I'm not even gonna do the math because I suck at math, but you're talking,
A fraction of a fraction of a fraction.
you're talking
of
a fraction of a fraction of a fraction
Yeah.
of the people that are supposed to be stopped by background checks were actually convicted.
Like
There's a
Illinois,
guy
for
in-
instance.
There's a guy in Milwaukee that was literally convicted of 52 straw purchases. I know for a fact that 3 of the guns he purchased showed up on crime scenes in Chicago. He got 1 year probation, courtesy of Obama's Department of Justice. NICS is not about background checks. It's not about stopping criminals from getting guns, kids.
Well, look at Illinois has got the FOID card. Okay.
It doesn't do any good. Jersey's got
Doesn't-
one too.
And it shows up all the time where somebody goes on, does something. Did he had an FOI card? Yeah, he had an FOID card. Where was his conviction that's shown where he spent time in prison and is not supposed to be able to own one? It didn't get picked up. So
Take a look
Oh.
at take a look at your mass shooters from the last 10 years and look at how many of those passed background checks. And then look at how many of those passed background checks but shouldn't have because somebody didn't report the data correctly.
Should have been stopped at the gun store in the first place.
Mhm.
Mike, you know that.
Well-
If you have that feeling, you stop that sale instantly.
Oh, hell yeah. I've tossed people. I have threatened to quit. I had one night, the guy that was in charge was one of those goody company guys that we need the sale. And I flat out looked at him and I said, I will. And I dropped the F-bomb. I said, I will effing walk right now.
Yeah.
If you try and make me sell that gun,
good.
I will effing walk right now.
I
It
was
is
fortunate.
my right.
Yep. As a
Under
sale
that
against-
law to deny a sale. And I don't
Yep.
care what corporate says. I don't care what you say. It is my right as a person at that counter to deny that sale.
Yep.
I was fortunate. I was one of at the last store I worked at before I moved. I was there the longest, and I had pretty much the most experience in the gun
Mhm.
counter industry. They
And
never,
when you say no, they go, okay.
yeah.
They listen. Yeah.
Even the bosses, they didn't have the bad eye. They knew what I was looking for. I've
That
been
was
around,
the
I've been
last-
around guns my whole life. I've been in gun store space my whole life. About half of my life almost at this point has been behind a gun counter, one way or another. So
Yeah. Go
I
ahead.
have easily sold almost 10,000 guns since I started at Bass Pro.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm not kidding. I've literally sold almost 10,000 guns. I've had 3 deny sales. Why? because I stop it.
Mhm.
JT, no, you're not muted. You are there. What was your question? Oh, have you all heard any more about Silencer Central and they're allegedly trying to keep suppressors on the NFA?
I've heard of it. I haven't.
Okay, so JT, 2 weeks ago, the owner was on Gun Talk. Tom Gresham interviewed him. Take it what you will. Gresham does freely admit that Silencer Central has been in a sponsor in the past, potentially could be a sponsor in the future. I don't think they are currently. But Gresham actually does a decent job of interviewing. That's the one thing I have to say honestly about Gresham is in my experience, and I've been listening to him for 20 years now, is overall he does a pretty good job of being not biased. And he does overall a pretty good job of holding people's feet to the fire. That's why LaPierre wouldn't come on his show anymore. That's why the NRA wouldn't come on his show anymore, is because he was calling them out. Starting in Indy, for those who don't remember, in Indy in 2018, when we tried to vote LaPierre out and lost,
Marion Hammer.
That's when he was already starting to call for it before Indy, and a lot of other people were as well. Basically what some of the issue was with Silencer Central, no, they're not free and clear. It's kind of muddy. Did they do some stuff they probably shouldn't have done? Maybe. Did some of it get blown out of proportion? Yes. Is selling silencers via Silencer Central and sending it out and doing all the NFA paperwork their bread and butter? Hell no. And if you look at the actual numbers, they could lose that tomorrow and not blink, because they are selling cans, actual honest to God cans, hand over fist. And if they get deregulated and they can start literally just having somebody call up, send me 5 cans and no paperwork, Nick can call up and say, send me 5, you can call up and get like 5 cans the next day in UPS. In 2 months, they're going to go, what was Silencer Central? What was that revenue? Who cares? So, unlike the jackwagons that try and keep all of the NFA items on the NFA because they've invested crap tons of money into it, and that's what they want to do because that's a retirement plan, and they keep trying to keep everything on there. Silencer Central had some lobbyists, and the one thing that they did is they said, all right, if this tax is going to continue to be collected, and this is the words of the CEO, he said, if that tax is going to be continue to be collected, instead of going into the general fund, which does right now, it should go into the Pittman Robertson Fund. That's what was twisted into being that they were lobbying to keep it on the NFA. So that's what they had contacted their lobbyists to look into, was to get that $200 tax per suppressor applied to the Pittman Robertson Act funds. For those of you who don't know, every time you buy a firearm brand new, or a fishing pole, or a jig, or a spool of line, or ammunition, or bullets, or
Hunting
primers,
clothes.
powder,
Hunting
clothes. There is a excise tax that company paid into the Pittman Robertson Act.
11%.
10% off everything. That is then distributed to the states for conservation. So like Wisconsin, we have a shit ton of public hunting land, but it's not only public hunting land, it's public fishing land, it's public bird watching land, it's public hiking land, it's state park land. A lot of that land has been paid for with Pittman Robertson Act money. Okay.
Mhm.
Wisconsin did smart things with it. That's why in Wisconsin, there's a crap ton of land that you can go hunting on and not have to pay a lease, unlike Texas. Because Wisconsin used, because we had a couple of people up here that spent a lot of time up here. Yeah, mountain bikes, binoculars, hiking backpacks. Actually, they are included in that, by the way. If you actually look, I don't remember the resources, but there's actually a list of all the stuff that that is included in the Pittman-Robertson Act, and it's not strictly hunting and fishing. So it's mainly hunting and fishing. But for those whiners that want to talk about who supports wildlife, who saves wildlife, guess what? We contribute over $1 billion every year to conservation. So Sierra Club, sit and spin.
We heard about the good news with the what the ATF's trying to do, or what the new ATF administration's doing.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that. But I don't know the
well,
details on that, so I'm not going to rant on it.
Which one are you thinking on? I'm going to talk about the zero tolerance essentially going away, reinstating any FFL that was wrongfully committed for zero tolerance issues.
Not that. There's something else that they just rolled out that pissed me off, and I don't remember what it was because it was just absolutely ignorant. No, that's good that they should give all those licenses back. Unfortunately, the one guy that I know that got his license pulled is now deceased, so it's not going to make a difference. But this is a good comment from Okist. And absolutely. And yeah, it's legit comment. So he says, this is back to Silencer Central. He goes, whether they did lobby against the Hearing Protection Act or not, Silencer Central sucks. That's his opinion. Given the comment follows, rightfully so, he's rightfully justified in his opinion. They say they will sell you anyone's cans, but they give you the runaround if you try and buy anything other than theirs, especially the Banish. So Silencer Co. is the same way, or is it Silencer Co.? The other one? Yeah, Silencer Co. The one that actually, by the way, everybody should applaud Silencer Co. Because if it isn't for Silencer Co., we don't have e-forms, kids.
Yeah, well, that was their kiosk that they brought out.
You're thinking Silencer Shop.
Silencer Shop.
Silencer Shop does the kiosks, yeah.
Yeah, whoever's got the kiosks. Everybody in the industry should thank them because they're the ones that forced the FBI kicking, screaming, dragging, hollering, fining, yelling, and everything else they could do into the 21st century and made them use e-forms for everybody.
And look where we're moving within 2 weeks at most.
ATF abso-freaking refused. And so they brought out their kiosks and they started doing internal e-forms, and they literally railroaded them down the FBI and the ATF's throats. And they literally threw them through the ATF with lawyers. And they continued to use lawyers and lawyers and lawyers until finally the ATF not only gave in to them, but once they gave in to them, then they're like, well, all right. And then they continued to railroad them until the ATF said, all right, everybody. Think of it like the building scene in Blazing Saddles.
Well,
the sheriff's sitting there talking to the town people, and he's trying to get the railroad workers to come and help build the town. And Mr. Johnson says, well, we'll take the and the but we don't want the Irish. And the sheriff goes, it's got to be everybody. And he says, oh, hell, come on, everybody. That's kind of what Silencer Shop did. So.
Yeah, well, Silencer Shop also did one of their things. They actually had a a mass printing of all their forms, and for 1 month, and it was something like 50 or 60,000 forms that they had,
hmm
and they brought it down to the ATF and dropped it off at the lobby. Okay,
That is downright devious.
right, and they said, "What are we going to do with this?" And they said, "You have to process them." And at the same time, they had some Congress critters there.
Oh, that's genius.
yeah,
Nothing like setting them up.
yeah, and they did a good job, and all that's when the e-form
hmm
got picked up,
Yeah.
and then it's what, about a year and a half ago where they started really turning around everything.
Yeah, they were
So-
within
so
8 months
here's-
to a year ago.
Here's what happened. So literally what would happen is I'm an ATF agent, I'm an ATF agent. Or
Right.
ATF on this case, because they're the ones
Right.
with the deal with the NFA. All right.
Right.
So Billy Bob sends me his form and I can't process it right away. So what happens?
There's a problem. Yeah.
So what
I don't
happens
do anymore.
is it goes on my pile and I don't do anything until I get this
Yeah.
one resolved.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody finally said, well, no. You take this, you set it in that basket over there, and you grab the next form.
Yeah.
That's what happened to change the time. So, Okis, yes, I completely understand. Yes, you have absolutely every right to be that way. I completely can understand it. Now, here's the thing. If you're a business owner, okay, say you're a Ford dealership, but you tell everybody, if you want a Buick, I'll get you a Buick. But when that person comes on your lot, you got a Ford sitting there right there. That's comparable to the Buick. And you know you're going to make more money off that Buick, off that Ford. Would you try and talk that customer into buying that Ford versus that Buick, where you're going to do just about as much work on your end, but not make as much profit? You have to think of it that way. I mean, honestly, if Silencer Central wanted to, they could be dicks and say, we're only going to do our suppressors. You can figure out a way to get everybody else's. So you got to think of it like that too. But yeah, I absolutely understand that. I absolutely understand that. That, and it is annoying because you call them up and you want to, freaking Tom's amazing. Bowers is absolutely going to be the first can I buy, and it has nothing to do with the fact that he sponsors We Like Shooting. It has everything to do with the fact that Tom Bowers is an amazing individual. He's honest. He's hardworking, smart as a whip. Always listening to people, always thinking. But most importantly, first, he makes a hell of a can. Second, he stands behind it. He literally had some of his first generation cans. There was an issue with something. And somebody got a hold of him. He took care of the customer. I mean, you're talking like, I think the cans are 15, 20 years old, something like that. You tell me one of the modern companies is going to take care of some one of their 20-year-old cans. No. So, I mean, Tom Bowers is amazing. And so are his cans. So, but yeah, Okis, absolutely, definitely valid point. Definitely have a valid reason. But I wanted to kind of explain where they're coming from on that end of it. But yeah, I mean, absolutely, they're going to, it's one of those things you have to understand going into dealing with Silencer Central. They're going to try and sell you their cans. Their cans are good. The Banish are really good. We've shot them at SHOT Show. We've also shot a couple at GunCon. But they're not the best out there. So, but absolutely. But it's just one of those things. You just stick to your guns and say, no, I want a Bowers can. Or if you want a Thunder Beast, if you're in the Wyoming area, reach out to Chris. That's right. Co-host Chris is a Thunder Beast dealer. So, but
Yeah.
so my plans for the summer, spend a little more time with the kid next door. He's right there now, but in 2 weeks he's going to be right there, literally. I mean, it's kind of freaking cool. I mean, he's literally going to be right freaking there. So, so I can go over and harass him. That's awesome. Although I'm not going to lie, I absolutely lost my shit today. So we had thunderstorms roll through this afternoon too, and I had forgot to take the umbrella down from outside. I mean, it was collapsed, but it was still out there. And so it still will, play with the wind. So I got a hold of him and asked him to go out and grab it. And so I've got the camera out back so Nancy can watch the dogs when the dogs are outside while she's working, in case they get mouthy or whatever, and she can holler at them. And so I popped into the cam to say hi and thank you. What's he do? He moons me and flips me off. We're at lunch. We're sitting at lunch with the other guys in the shop. Like the Sparky and the Tinner and the couple of Tinners, and I just lost it. I'm just sitting there laughing so damn hard. Everybody else is like, "You okay? Are you okay? What's going on?" And I'm trying to stop laughing long enough so I can tell him what my kid just did to me. And it was like 5 minutes before I finally stopped laughing enough that I could actually tell him. I was never more proud of the kid. Oh, man. So. As far as the podcast goes, obviously going to GunCon, I've got that taken care of, other than I got to figure out where I'm staying. I haven't figured that out yet. I was thinking about camping, but I don't know. I think I still might. So the problem I have to figure out is if I'm camping, I need electric. So, because I have to have my CPAP now. Pressure went up. So.
That makes it rough.
So, I mean, I could figure out what other ways to do it, but I don't have a generator that's quiet, so that's not an option. But anyway, yeah. Oh, so he said, he said they told me they're only doing their silencers now. They're exactly like talking to a car salesman. This is back to Silencer Central. They may be. I don't know. But yeah, Tom made him a War Dog K10 on request. What the hell did the one that Jeremy? So Jeremy Posderick calls up Tom one day and says, "Here, I want a can that does this." And Jeremy had him make a new can, and now for just whatever, because Jeremy wanted to put it on one of his range guns, and now Tom's making it and selling it. So, but I mean, that's the thing with Bowers, is he's open to take ideas from anywhere, and he knows that he's not the end all be all. But yeah, but then and then Okis goes, "I completely understand why they're doing it, but falsely representing what they do. Bowers is awesome. Of course, Bowers is awesome. Tom Bowers is awesome. We've covered this, but yeah, I can't speak on whether they're falsely representing or not, because I haven't heard them. I haven't heard any updates that they're not selling other people's cans. The last I knew, they still were selling other people's cans. And I just kind of assumed that they would be trying to push their stuff first, because it's kind of the nature of business nowadays. But but also what happens when you assume. So so for me, GunCon, possibly my last county fair is 4-H chair for mechanical science and electricity. I let them know in March that I want to be done, but I told them I'm not leaving until they find a replacement. So I
luck.
don't have the time to dedicate to the kids. I don't have time to have work days and stuff like the kids deserve. So they need to find somebody that can. And that's what I kind of told them. Because we've got somebody from UW Extension. For those of you who don't know, 4-H pairs with a university. Every 4-H state organization pairs with a university, but also every county level pairs with a university. And they work in tandem to help further education of the various topics, shall we say. So with mechanical science and electricity, the person that we have now, Lisa, is just amazing. That's with UW Extension. And she has all of these people with UW and all these other people that we can get in contact with and get project days done and different things, but I don't have time. And I don't have anybody who's willing to currently volunteer to facilitate, because that's the drawback, is that's not something that we can expect Lisa to do either, to be there all the time. So that's kind of where I've gotten to the point where I've kind of just, gave them notice that eventually, as soon as they find somebody to replace me, I'm out. But, kids have been out of 4-H for 6 years now, so I kind of paid a little bit back. But so after county fair, like I said, it's going to be hopefully goals. We'll see. I don't know. Kind of the biggest issue on that right now is funds. Second issue is figuring out vacation's not a problem. That's the beautiful blessing I have with working the job I have, is I have 4 to 5 weeks vacation, depending on how much I carry over every year. So having vacation time's not an issue. So, and I don't have to use vacation for all of my time off, because I also get personal days in there and I have sick days. So vacation is vacation. And they actually encourage us to use our vacation. So that's a beautiful thing. But as far as the podcast, I've got to figure out where I have all the pieces for the Square DLB. That's part of the problem. We're kind of just filling time until my son moves out of my reloading room and I get my reloading room back. Honestly. So thanks for hanging with us, because I can't do a lot out here. I can't set, I've got the press sitting here, but I can't really use it. It's just kind of sitting there chilling. There's only 2 screws holding it down. It's not going to stay there very long if I tried to actually reload with it. I don't even know where the heck my Lee press is right now. I don't. I really don't. It's either in a tote in storage or it's buried in there somewhere. I have no idea. So, but what we're gonna do is, what's on the project list is low development. Yes, I'm dragging you people kicking and screaming with me. 30-06 accelerators, 3030 load, hunting load, and 3030 accelerators. 6.5 needs more hunting load.
Oh.
Shut up. You got one you want to work on?
Oh, yeah.
All right, then. We can do one for you,
Okay.
too. And the fun thing is, the accelerators are kind of a fun thing, so those are going to be at the same time. The 30-06 and 3030 accelerators are going to be at the fun time. I'm going to, if I've got brass, I'm going to try and see if a 762x39 accelerator will work at the same time. the kicker is, as everybody knows, well, not everybody knows. Some people do, some people don't. Hey, Nick,
Yeah,
what's your average bore dimension on a SKS?
311, 312.
What's your average bore dimension on a 3030 or a 30-06 Springfield?
308.
Okay. So kids in the back, what's the difference in that? 3 thousandths. Is that a big deal? Lead? No. Plastic? Yes. What do they make the sabots out of? Plastic. So whether I can load the sabots from EB Brown and Company into the 762x39 brass. Hi, Paul. Bye, Paul. We lost Paul. And he didn't even say any storms there. What the heck? Whether I can load it into the brass or not, it's not a question. We can load it into the brass. And we haven't left yet, JT. Getting there. We haven't left yet. I just said hi, Paul, bye, Paul, because Paul just disappeared. It's whether they're going to keel when I shoot them. That's the question. So, which I'm pretty sure they probably will. But I'm wondering. No, because that's hundredths, not thousands. I was just wondering. I'm like, well, what if I throw a 243 bullet in there? But
Yeah, you're getting smaller. You're getting
no. The bows are designed for a 224 bullet, like a 55 grainer.
Yeah.
So I was thinking throwing a 243 projectile in there, but I think that's going to be too big.
Yeah.
Because we don't want barrel obstructions, kids. That's not good.
Yeah.
Now, granted, with the bow, it's probably pretty easy to take care of. But
Oh, it reminds me, I gotta call that company on those bullets on Friday.
holy crap, Okis, that explains a whole crap ton of stuff. He said I bought a press about when I started listening to you about 10 plus years ago. Okay, I'm sorry, but no, we don't cover mental damage caused by listening to this podcast. But that explains a lot.
I've had jitters the last 6 months that I haven't been able to use my reloading bench.
It's annoying, isn't it?
Oh, I was like, I want to get, because I have so many projects I want to get to for my shoot this summer.
If
with
I
my
could
buddies.
find my Lee press, I could use it out in the garage. But I don't even know where the hell it is. So
Yeah. Well, it's like I got to call and order bullets on Friday. I got to order the dies. I have the brass. Because I want to get those loads developed for the shoot this summer when all my buddies are coming into town for a big gun show. And then I got some other load development I've started playing with a little bit. Last week of July.
Nope, can't make it.
We have our big military gun show here in KC, and I got probably 8 or 10 guys that are in my Discord group. That's a MilSerp group that are all coming in town from Texas, Florida, New York.
You should send me an invitation to that Discord group.
Well, you got to pay the $1 to his Patreon to get into his group, which it's $1 a month, $12.
Dude, I'll pay $1 a month. I don't care.
Yeah. I'll shoot you the link to his Patreon. It's easy. MilSerp World.
Because I am going to beg, borrow, and steal for information while I'm in there, and I very well may use that as a hey, guess what? Somebody just walked into my office with this. What do you guys think it's worth?
Yeah, seriously, I do it all the time. I was like, hey, what's this worth? Yeah, MilSerp World.
I know for those Colombian Mausers, I overpaid for them a little bit, but I don't care because I was helping. I paid him $3.25 a pop for them, and I put them out for $4.99.
Are they secondary rechambered .6, or was it the Colombian ones that were chambered?
They are
Colombians.
They are stamped 30 cal on the receiver.
I'll do some research on those.
And the barrel is stepped.
Does it have the crest on it?
Yes, it does. I sent you pictures before.
You did? Okay. I'll have to look.
And they're
J&G.
pre 68 import.
Oh, wow. Yeah. J&G sold one for $650.
Okay, so I'm not too far off then.
Yeah. And J&G is normally right about either sometimes they're high, and this one's pretty rough. This one has almost no finish left on it.
Yeah. So the finish on both of these, as far as the metal goes, is actually really good. The wood on the one is really good.
So it's the Colombian model 1950 is what they are.
Yeah. But yeah, they were brought in before 68 because neither of them have import engraving. So,
yeah.
It's kind of funny when I'm looking at guns and I'll start talking about something and I'll mention something and people look at me like, what? What are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, so if it's before this time, you don't have to have this on it. Or if it's before this time, you don't have it. And they're like, how do you know that?
Just history. You just got to know
I
things.
said, because I've learned it in this job. So
I'm glad I don't have the free time to work at Cabela's here.
Yeah, because serial numbers on guns weren't legally required until late 50s, early 60s, was it?
There's a catch.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah.
Handguns, they were. And rifles, it was not a on the books requirement, but it was a understood industry requirement. Shotguns and 22s, it was not required at all. So you will get a lot of shotguns and 22s pre-GCA that have no serial number.
Yeah,
but it's
got
very, very hard to find a handgun or a rifle that do not have a serial number. More than likely, if they don't have a serial number, it's because somebody took it off. But I don't even know what the law is stating. I don't know if the handguns was a gentleman agreement also, like the rifles was. But basically, as far back as I've seen, and the oldest rifle I've had in my hands is I've literally had I have honestly had a honest to God 1866 in my hand, and it had a serial number. Guy brought it in to show us. And yes, I had to put gloves on before I touched it.
That's common.
So, but I'll tell you what, one of the things I love about my job is I literally get to frickin' see history every day. The one thing I've noticed now is we're starting to go back to not getting grandpa's guns in. We've kind of started to cross a generational gap where the kids and the grandkids are interested in keeping the guns again. So that's kind of making me happy. We're not getting as much where grandpa's guns are being brought in to be sold because nobody in the family wants them. So yeah, we're gonna do 30-30, 30-06 accelerator, 30-30 hunting load, 6.5 hunting load. Paul, I think, actually does have a cartridge that he wants to do load development for, and that's going to be a fun thing to see the difference in Paul's cartridge development versus mine. And then also my hunting cartridge development versus the accelerator, because the accelerator is basic. I mean, that's just basic. You've got your projectile, which is set in stone. You've got your case, which is set in stone. You've got your sabot, which is set in stone. You've got your primer, which is set in stone. You've got your powder, which you have a limited amount to choose from. And you've got your charge weight, which is a limited amount to choose from. And you've got your results, which is a limited amount to choose from. So it's kind of a basic setup. It's going to be fun. But at the same time, it's going to be, okay, let's see how accurate we can get these things.
That's why it's doing that.
So, towards fall, we'll cover some shot shell before we get into that. I'm interested, actually, Raggle Fraggle. I'm really interested, but only if you're going to send me the gun to shoot too. So, really? He said a local guy refurbishes old Remington rolling blocks and they don't have serial numbers.
Yeah, it's common.
I suppose. I don't know. I've got a
Most of the
falling block.
military, most of the military ones don't.
Well,
have
yeah,
serial
I suppose
numbers.
military ones wouldn't.
Yeah, the only
take
ones
that
that
back.
did were the French contract 8mm Lebel,
Well, that's
And
so
the
they can find
Swedish.
them when they dropped them.
and the Swedish rolling blocks didn't have serial numbers or had serial numbers.
I saw Ray laughing at that one. So yeah, I guess I didn't even realize. Yeah, rolling blocks, military firearms. So, but the funny thing is, the Colt pistols that were used for military did, and some of the Smiths that were used for. But I suppose handguns versus rifles, whole different story. So, speaking
well
of,
You
I've
know
got
RC
a Model 4 or a number 4 on hold at work.
There you go. Oh, I gotta send
So-
you a number 4. I gotta send you a photo. Have I told you what's on layaway?
By the way, a number 4 is I don't even know what the actual correct term on is. It's because it's not really a true falling block.
Oh, you're talking that number 4.
Not a Model 4.
Yeah.
So it's a 22, but you pull the hammer back, you literally push down essentially just a block. It's not really a falling block, and it's not a rolling block. I don't know. I guess I'll look quick and see what they call it. But and then you load your cartridge, pull the block back up, and away you go. So but as you were saying,
That portion here, is that supposed to come out of an RCBS die?
what?
This little black bushing? Because
Is
of course you
that
got your decapping rod.
seating or
here.
decapping?
Decapping or size, full length sizing. You get your rod here that comes out with your little
Yeah,
collar screw. Mine is
I think
tight
it
as heck.
does.
That's what I thought so. Because I'm starting to do some development for
Huh,
one of my
that was
cartridges where you take 54R brass
Oops.
and you run it through a 6.5 sizing die, and it's giving me a bulge right here on the neck. And I'm wondering, is it hitting? It looks like a shoulder or something in there.
Ready?
should come out.
That's kind of what I thought.
Well, that's a bullet puller. Well, I can't. It should come out. Unfortunately, the only
I'll
RCBS
see
guy
Joel
I
on
have,
Thursday, so I'll ask him.
let him know, by the way, that I am working on a comparison video.
Yeah, I'll be doing the same thing.
But
now that
let him
the
know
bench is
that
clear.
just if you would just let him know my sit. That
Yep.
I've got my kid living here, so I don't have a lot of space to actually do it right.
We'll do. Yeah, I'm having lunch with him on Thursday at a local restaurant. So
Please tell him I'm not blowing him off, and I don't want to have like bad blood with us.
no,
Not-
and I know he doesn't. I'm text him and I text like every other day. It feels like,
Awesome.
and he's been hunting a lot recently, and like he just was in I think Argentina hunting whatever
Doves?
their upland game is or whatever. Yeah, I think it's doves.
Well, I know doves are big down there, but I'm sure they've probably got some mammals and stuff too. But
Yeah, I think it was some sort of upland game. I saw a video
cool.
or something. I don't know where I saw it at, but I'm like, that dude gets to have so much fun.
Yep. So
That little nipple you talk about, Nick, has it got a hex head on it, or is it just
No, it's just knurled.
Nick, what you want to do? Get some leather
Mm-hmm.
and a channel lock.
Yeah.
Lock the die down in your vise or
Yep.
in your press. So use your whole die lock ring and everything. Lock it down.
Yep.
Heat your die up a little bit with a torch, and then take your leather, wrap it around the knurl, and take your channel locks. Grab the leather. Give it a quick tighten, just like a a 30, imagine it being 360 degrees. Just give it like a 2-degree turn tight, and then loosen it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I might still pick up because these are RCBS 6.5 speed dies, and I don't want to ruin.
And if that
good
doesn't
RCBS.
work, if you notice right away it's not turning,
I'm just gonna
send
stop.
it,
Yeah.
send it in.
Well, no, I'll keep it for 6.5 because I shouldn't have to have they take that out. That's true. I'm
They'll
gonna
fix
probably pick up a set of Lees I can strictly keep for this caliber.
Well, that's what
'Cause
I'm saying is RCBS will stand behind those dies, even the ones I've got that are ancient. As far as we're concerned, they will fix them. So if you've got a problem and that won't come loose, then get a hold of them, get an RGA, and send it in.
Yeah, because it's not budget, and I have other ones like this is an old.
Well, that's why I
RCBS.
said use a little heat and then go a little tight, and then
yeah, this is an old RCBS that comes out no problem.
Right.
Drop it to a Croyle in between, then heat it up a little bit. It'll come right out.
Think about that. I have literally. I'm looking at the bottle of Croyle here on my bench right now. Good old fairy
Croyle
dust.
Yeah. By the way, thank you to whoever my Secret Santa was that sent me Croyle because that's freaking amazing.
It is your best friend.
But not as amazing as that air compressor that they sent me. Oh my goodness, that thing's a beast. So Secret Santa with Secret Krampus, sorry, with We Like Shooting that I'm in every year. And they sent me, I found a air compressor, lithium ion chargeable air compressor off Amazon. It is a beast. First off, it holds a charge forever. But it literally took my truck tire, my 18-inch pickup truck tire, from completely flat and filled it all the way up to 35 pounds. I've got a John Deere, and I filled all 4 tires because after winter, 3 of them were flat. One of them was half flat. 15-inch on the front, 20s on the rear. I filled all of them up, and then had to refill the front left 3 times because the bead is garbage, and all on one charge. Just a beast. And it's got a auto setting, so you can literally dial in the pressure you want, and it just runs until it hits the pressure and shuts off. Freaking just beautiful. But it's also got a 12-volt plug, so you can plug it into your cigarette lighter if you need to. So if anybody wants
noise, Nick.
Huh?
So he's making a bunch of noise.
I'm used to it by now. He doesn't know how to mute. He hasn't figured out what the mute button is.
It's been so long. It's so old.
I'd have it unstuck by now.
I know you would.
He's slow.
I should tighten that down.
It's because you dropped him on his head too many times as a child, all right? Or maybe not enough. One of the two.
I never dropped him.
I think I might have to turn the rims a little bit on these cases anyway. So, but
anyway,
we talked about that.
I know.
So, you guys got any loads you need to work on?
I do too.
All right, cool. So we'll throw
I'm
that into
ordering
the summer
bullets
mix.
and dies. This
I want to
weekend.
do some casting. I want to do some episodes on casting. So,
just
Nick,
let me know when.
If you've got a setup going right now, then we can do a couple episodes of live casting. That'd be awesome.
Brand new Lee Pro 4 up there in the box I can pull out.
All right.
Brand new. It's never been used. I'll get that out. I got some molds I want to run. So yeah. I just gotta get some. I gotta get some paraffin wax. All I gotta get. Okay. That's easy though. I can get it.
Yeah, I want to do some casting.
I
want to do some casting, and I would like to actually do some casting too. So, but I don't know how that's going to work because I got to figure out how that's going to work.
Nick, that wrench ain't going to work if it's knurled.
It's not. Anyway. It's flat.
So.
And knurled is round. You need channel lock.
That's why I said leather strap and channel locks. But
yeah, I got those will work. I'll get those up the show.
Anyway,
a piece of rubber and leather is what you need.
Yep. Leather is better because it doesn't. You don't run the chance
Right.
of damaging anything. Leather
Right.
or rubber can shred and transfer easily. So anyway, so yeah, we got some good stuff coming for summer. We'll get some good fun stuff going. It'll be fun. I'm working on figuring out how to get a donation link added to Rumble. It's a thing. I don't know how it's a complicated thing, I should say. So I'm trying to figure that out. I got to talk to Sean or probably Krista and figure out how that works. So I tried figuring it out tonight and it's not easy. So anyway, thank you. Speaking of, thank you to everybody that does donate to the podcast, whether that's through Patreon or what other means. Also, thank you to our sponsors, Patriot Patch Company and Camerado. Patriot Patch Company, this was the patch of the month for May. The June one is coming out soon. So if you're a Patch of the Month Club member, you can you get the sticker, the patch, Ryan's drawing. So, and if you go to https://firearmsradio.net/categories/podcasts/reloading-2. You can click on the support the show, which is a Patreon link currently, because I don't have anything else to replace it. I talked to Sean. He built his own. I don't have that capability. I'm looking for something other than Patreon because I keep getting stupider and stupider. So if anybody knows anybody crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, it's possible that once I get this Rumble thing figured out that might be the answer. So, but I don't know. So I want to get away from Patreon because as mindless as easy as is, they're starting to do even more stupid. So anyway, so yeah, swing over to the podcast page. You can hit up Patreon and sign up to be a Patch of the Month Club member. Get the awesome patches and support the show. You can also go to buy our stuff, which takes you over to Southern Gals Crafts, which is where you can get weird stuff like the Reloading Podcast tumblers and the t-shirts that we normally wear. Sorry, mine's up in the closet and I didn't go upstairs to get it. I'm horrible about that. But, Camerado, here's the original pattern. You can't get the bucket hat anymore. But Sean does have a lot of awesome stuff over there. Camerado.com and coupon code RELOAD to save 5%. And on that note, keep your brass shiny.
Jump on the Mill short bus.
Teach them to shoot and reload when they're young.
Support the Second Amendment. Support organizations that support the Second Amendment. There's a lot of good ones out there. There's a lot of them that are spending a lot of money in lawyers' fees to fight these stupid morons that keep passing these stupid bills because the stupid Supreme Court won't tell them it's illegal. Oh shit! Here comes another roll. Get a hold of your local, state, national organizations. Support the right ones. NRA, I'm still not sold on. Give them some time. Maybe they'll figure it out, but I'm not sold on them yet. Do what you will with that. If you're already a member of the NRA, get off your carcass and keep hollering on them to fix it. All right? Because as much as people hate them, that's why we need them. Because they are that 800-pound gorilla. But even more importantly, they do a hell of a lot for firearms safety and firearms training. That is probably the single most productive thing that the NRA has ever done in their entire existence is firearms safety and firearms training. All right. And they got away from even that. So we need to get that fixed. Keep paying attention to what your elected representatives are doing. They work for us, not the other way around. Make sure they know that. Nicely. Make sure they know that, though. Because unfortunately, especially the critters in Washington seem to think there's some sort of ruling class now. They need to be reminded they're not. They also need to be replaced quite frequently. There is no reason on God's green earth that somebody should be in Washington for 30, 40, 50 years. There's no reason somebody should be in Washington for 20 years. Okay? I honestly don't see any viable way we're ever going to get term limits for Congress, because the only way that's going to happen is constitutional amendment, and they still have to be involved in that process. So they're definitely not going to vote themselves out of a job. So we need to do that out of the ballot box. Anyway, make sure you're calling them, writing them, emailing them, letting them know nicely. That is the key word. You need to be nice. And there is no time to not be nice. When you are talking to them, when you are talking to their staff, when you're interacting with them, I don't care if they're the stupidest person on the face of the planet, Maxine Waters, you need to be nice, period. I don't care if they say the stupidest thing. I don't care if they flat out tell you to your face they hate guns and they want to take yours away. You need to be nice. And speaking of being nice, we hate anti-gunners. We do not hate libtards. Granted, there are libtards that are anti-gunners, okay? But there's a difference. And there are libtards and there's liberals and there's Republicans and there's idiots there's conservatives and there's morons on both sides of the fence, all right, gang? But the bottom line is we are pro 2A. We hate anti-gunners. I don't care about anything else, and you shouldn't either. Our enemy is the anti-gunner. Our enemy is not a liberal, is not a bleeding heart liberal. It is not a libtard. It's not a bleeding libtard. It's not a frickin' libtard. It's not anything else. Our enemy is the anti-gunner. Period. Full stop. That's it. Do not attack liberals. Do not attack conservatives. Attack anti-gunners. And that's it. Don't do it physically, though. That doesn't work out well. We need liberal gun owners. And we've been continuing to alienate them and continuing to alienate them. And we're going to lose the fight because we did. We need them on our side. We need to be all in one. Doesn't matter whether you think that wood and blued is the only way to go, or MSRs, or if it was made before 1900 or made after 1900, it sucks, or, it doesn't matter. If it goes bang, or if it goes, it's a gun. It's cool. Or if it's a blade, or a taser, or whatever, or a blowgun, a bow, an arrow, a crossbow, compound bow, whatever. It's the right to keep and bear arms, whatever those frickin' arms are. It is up to the individual to decide what arms they want to carry. Don't be judgmental. Support everybody, because we all got to be in this fight together. I don't care what they believe about everything else. If you think that I should have the right to go buy a frickin' aircraft carrier if I have the money, let's go. You may not want an aircraft carrier personally, but if you think I have that right according to the Constitution, which it does say I do, let's go. Oh, trebuchets are awesome. They're freaking awesome, dude. Everybody should have one. I mean, everybody should have lots of things, but So.
I'd like to have a PT boat.
I know, right? Dude, could you see me cruising around Lake Mendota on a PT boat?
That'd be cool.
Freaking yeah. Cool. I think Mendota's probably the only one that'd be big enough that I could actually cruise around on it. Monona might be. But otherwise, let's go to Lake Michigan. We do PT drag races.
Jeez.
Come on, wind up those diesels. Pretend we're JFK. Oh, I think we should all be issued an A10 Warthog. Come on. Dude, that is the one thing I miss about Truax, is we actually had Warthogs stationed here. Now, I love the F-35s because those freaking things are awesome. And that sound of freedom is just glorious. But, God, there's nothing like the sound of an A10 Warthog. So, anyway, most importantly, gang, the most important thing I say every single show, the most important thing I can say every time we talk. If you're struggling mentally, get help. I finally get to talk with somebody tomorrow. It's been a long process, long time coming. I should have done it after my brother died January 24th, 2021. I didn't, because I didn't think I needed to. And I've lost quite a few other people since then, but that's when I should have, and I didn't. And there's been a lot of crap that's gone on, and a lot of stuff that I've dealt with and had to go through that I shouldn't. And a lot of stuff that I put other people around me through that I shouldn't have had to. Because I didn't man up. It acknowledged that I needed help, and I needed, some professional help. There's nothing wrong with it, gang. In fact, it's pretty strong to say you need help. And if you're really struggling, 988 or 1-800-273-8255. Reach out. There's somebody there that's going to help get you on the path and keep you here. We need you here. We want you here. I freaking guarantee you, even if you don't think there is, I guarantee you there's at least one person that is glad you're here, glad you're sucking air, and glad you're taking up space. I guarantee it. And it's not just me. So reach out, get some help, stay in the fight. Thanks, folks. Have a good night.